You worked hard, but your boss overlooked your contribution again. That hollow feeling of being undervalued is something we all recognize. It is not about a title or a loud voice. True, lasting respect is drawn to an unshakable character. This is the core promise of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy for modern life. It teaches that respect is not something you demand, but something you build through unwavering inner strength. By the end of this, you will possess a clear map of 25 specific Stoic patterns that, when practiced, naturally command deep and enduring respect from everyone around you. We will explore how voluntary discomfort forges resilience and why intentional silence can be more powerful than any argument. Which single quality do you believe is the true foundation of respect? Respect often begins in the moments we choose not to react. The very first pattern is the bedrock of Stoic practice, mastering your internal responses before they ever become external actions. Think of your mind as a sturdy ship built for open water. A sudden storm does not change the ship, it only reveals its construction. When harsh words or frustrating events hit like a squall, the person who remains at the helm, steady and deliberate, commands a profound and instant respect. This is not about suppressing emotion, but about inserting a crucial pause between a triggering event and your reply. In that space, you reclaim your power. Someone cuts you off in traffic, a colleague dismisses your idea in a meeting, you receive an unfair critique. The raw, instinctual surge is real, but it is your judgment of that event, your choice to label it as a catastrophe or a mere inconvenience that truly dictates your experience. By choosing calm deliberation over raw reaction, you send a powerful signal to everyone watching. You are not easily thrown off balance, you are not easily provoked. This consistent composure makes you a reliable port in any storm, and people are instinctively drawn to that kind of unshakable strength. They see you as someone who can handle pressure, who can think clearly when others are losing their heads. This is how you build a reputation, not on the volume of your voice, but on the depth of your calm. That deliberate calm you cultivate creates a space for your second powerful pattern to emerge. Intentional silence is a conscious choice, a form of strength that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. We live in a world saturated with noise where everyone is eager to be heard, to state their case, to fill any quiet moment with their own voice. The Stoic stands apart in this chaos, not by shouting louder, but by mastering the art of listening. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself in his private writings to avoid babbling and pointless talk. He knew that a mind constantly chattering outward has no room to absorb wisdom from within or from others. This is not about being shy or withdrawn. It is a strategic, powerful discipline. When you choose to listen intently, you give someone a rare and valuable gift, your full attention. You make them feel truly heard and understood. In that moment, you are not just waiting for your turn to talk, you are actively valuing their perspective. This act alone builds immense goodwill and respect, but the power of intentional silence extends far beyond making others feel important. It transforms your own speech. When you break a thoughtful silence, your words are no longer just more noise in the crowd. They carry weight. They have been filtered through consideration and purpose. People learn that if you are speaking, it is because you have something meaningful to say. They lean in to listen. Think about the last meeting you attended. Who commanded more respect, the person who spoke constantly, offering opinions on every minor point, or the person who remained quiet for most of the discussion, only to speak up with the one insight that solved the core problem? The quiet one's words landed with undeniable force because they were rare and precise. By practicing intentional silence, you stop devaluing your own voice with unnecessary chatter. You build a reservoir of credibility so that when you do choose to speak, people stop and truly listen. Your words, now rare and considered, have established a presence that others notice. This foundation of calm and intentional listening sets the stage for a third pattern that truly separates character from crowd: the unwavering practice of taking absolute responsibility. A Stoic understands that while they cannot control every event, they retain absolute authority over their judgments and their actions. This means you own your choices and their consequences completely, without shifting blame to other people or to difficult circumstances. Think of it as standing firmly on your own 2 feet, refusing to lean on the crutch of excuses. When a project at work misses a deadline, the common reaction is to point fingers. The client was unclear, a colleague dropped the ball, the software crashed. Each excuse, while sometimes containing a grain of truth, is a surrender of your own power. It tells everyone that you are a victim of events, not an author of your own response. Now, picture the alternative. You go to your manager and say, "I take full responsibility for this. I underestimated the timeline, and I have already created a revised plan to get us back on track." That statement, delivered with the calm we discussed earlier, is not an admission of failure. It is a declaration of strength. It demonstrates a level of integrity and maturity that is incredibly rare. People respect you not because you are perfect, but because you are accountable. They see someone who can be trusted with greater challenges because you won't hide from the outcomes. This habit of ownership builds a rock-solid reputation. It tells the world that your word is your bond and that you are the one reliable constant in a sea of variables. Absolute ownership of your actions leads to a critical question: where should you direct your energy to be most effective? The fourth Stoic pattern provides the ultimate filter for your efforts, focusing only on what you can control. The ancient Stoics called this the dichotomy of control, a simple but life-changing idea that divides the entire world into 2 categories. On one side are the things within your command, your own judgments, your impulses, your desires, and your actions. On the other side is everything else: the weather, the traffic, the opinions of other people, and the final outcome of your projects. Most of our daily frustration and anxiety comes from pouring our precious energy into that second category, trying to bend external events to our will. We exhaust ourselves trying to control how a client reacts, whether we get the promotion, or if people speak well of us. The Stoic, however, makes a profound shift. They invest every ounce of their effort into the first category, their own sphere of choice. This is not about giving up or being passive. It is about becoming a master of your own domain. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you project a powerful sense of agency. People see someone who is not easily frustrated or derailed by circumstance. For example, you are preparing for a crucial job interview. You cannot control who the other candidates are. You cannot control the final decision of the hiring manager. These are externals. What you can control is your preparation, your research on the company, the clarity of your answers, and your punctuality. By focusing entirely on that preparation, you walk into that room with a quiet confidence that is unmistakable. You are not nervous about the outcome because you have already done everything within your power. This self-possession is deeply respectable. It shows you understand the difference between influence and control. You can influence others through your character and your work, but you cannot control their final judgment. When you accept this, you stop being a victim of the world and become the author of your response to it. Your energy is no longer scattered and wasted. It is focused like a laser on the only thing that truly matters: your own choices and your own character. This focused integrity naturally draws people toward you because they recognize a person who is genuinely anchored, not tossed about by every shifting wind. That focused integrity becomes the very essence of your character, a character built on the fifth pattern, living with authentic virtue. The Stoics identified 4 cardinal virtues as the pillars of a good life: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Respect is not the goal you chase. It is the natural and inevitable result of embodying these principles day after day. People are not drawn to perfection, but they are magnetically pulled toward someone whose actions are consistently guided by a strong moral compass. So what do these ancient virtues look like in a modern context? Wisdom is not just about knowledge, it is the practical judgment to see the world clearly and make sound decisions. It is the manager who allocates resources not based on office politics, but on what will truly benefit the project and the team. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the strength to do what is right even when it is difficult or frightening. It is the employee who speaks up about an ethical concern, risking discomfort for the sake of integrity. Justice is about fairness, not just in a legal sense, but in your daily dealings with everyone. It is treating the intern with the same consideration you show the CEO, because you recognize the inherent worth in every person. And temperance is self-discipline, the mastery over your own desires and impulses. It is the ability to walk away from gossip, to decline that third drink when you know you need a clear head, to manage your time instead of letting it manage you. When you weave these four threads together, you create a tapestry of character that others cannot help but admire. They see someone who is not swayed by every trend or temptation, someone who is fair in their judgments, brave in their convictions, and disciplined in their pursuits. This is not about putting on a show of virtue. It is about the quiet, daily work of aligning your actions with your principles. And in a world that often rewards shortcuts and compromises, that unwavering consistency is a beacon that commands deep, long-term respect. That same disciplined character reveals its true strength in a surprising way by occasionally seeking out hardship. This sixth stoic pattern, embracing voluntary discomfort, might seem counterintuitive at first. Why would anyone choose to be uncomfortable? The answer lies in forging an unbreakable resilience. It is the practice of taking a cold shower when a hot one is readily available, of skipping a meal to understand real hunger, or of walking when you could easily drive. These are not acts of self-punishment, but of training. You are building a callus on your mind, teaching yourself that comfort is a preference, not a necessity. This philosophy is deeply tied to the Stoic concept of amor fati, a love of one's fate. It means embracing everything life throws at you, the smooth and the rough, not with resignation but with a proactive spirit. When you voluntarily step into minor hardships, you send a powerful message to yourself and to the world. You demonstrate that you are not soft, that your happiness does not depend on perfect external conditions. People notice this quiet toughness. They see someone who can handle a last-minute change of plans without complaint, someone who remains composed when the air conditioning fails on a sweltering day, someone who does not feel entitled to an easy life. This builds respect because it shows you are prepared. While others are thrown into chaos by minor inconveniences, you remain steady because you have already faced worse by choice. You have inoculated yourself against life's inevitable disruptions. This mental toughness born from voluntary struggle proves you are not a prisoner of your comforts, but the master of your own experience. An unbreakable resilience frees you from the tyranny of external comforts, but it also clears the way for a more profound connection with others. Your inner strength is not a fortress to isolate you, but a foundation from which you can extend genuine understanding. The seventh Stoic pattern is the deliberate practice of judging less and understanding more. We are all quick to form opinions, to label someone's actions as rude, incompetent, or selfish based on a single snapshot of their behavior. The Stoic, however, inserts a crucial pause before that judgment crystallizes. They ask a simple but transformative question: what might be going on in this person's life that I cannot see? This is not about excusing poor behavior, but about comprehending its roots. When a coworker snaps at you in the morning, the easy judgment is to decide they are a fundamentally irritable person. The Stoic response is to consider the invisible burdens they might be carrying. Perhaps they just received a troubling phone call, maybe they are struggling with a sick child at home, or they are under a pressure you know nothing about. By choosing understanding over condemnation, you accomplish two powerful things. First, you protect your own peace. The rush to judgment is an internal storm you choose to weather, while seeking understanding is a calm act of observation. Second, and more importantly for earning respect, you create an atmosphere of psychological safety around you. People sense when they are in the presence of someone who seeks first to understand. They feel they can be imperfect, can have a bad day, can make a mistake without being immediately written off or gossiped about. This makes you a trusted confidant and a true leader. Think of a time you made a foolish error. Who did you turn to? Was it the person known for their sharp, critical opinions, or was it the person known for their calm and compassionate understanding? We are drawn to those who offer us the grace of context, and in return, we offer them our deepest respect and loyalty. By mastering this pattern, you become that rare individual who sees the whole person, not just their momentary failings. True strength is not proven in tranquility, but in the heart of the storm. The eighth stoic pattern is maintaining an unshakable composure when pressure mounts and chaos erupts. This goes beyond the everyday patience we cultivate. It is the ultimate test of your practice when the stakes are at their highest. History offers a stark and powerful example in the philosopher Seneca. Condemned to die by his former student, the Emperor Nero, Seneca faced his forced suicide with the same calm deliberation he wrote about in his essays. As the story goes, he comforted his grieving friends, questioned the need for his will to be rewritten, and embraced his fate without hysterics or panic. He did not control the event, but he mastered his response to it completely. In that terrifying moment, his character was not broken. It was revealed in its fullest, most formidable expression. Now translate this to a modern crisis. Picture a hospital emergency room when a critical case arrives, or a corporate boardroom during a sudden financial scandal. In that sea of panicked voices and fearful faces, one person remains quiet, their breathing steady, their focus absolute. This leader does not scream or assign blame. They assess the facts, delegate tasks with clarity, and make decisions based on reason, not fear. This composure is not a lack of feeling, it is a triumph of will over instinct. It sends an immediate and powerful signal to everyone in the room, a signal that the situation is manageable so long as we do not lose our heads. People are drawn to this calm like a beacon in the dark. They instinctively trust the person who can think clearly when everything is falling apart. This deep, reliable inner strength does not demand respect. It commands it effortlessly because in times of crisis, it becomes the most valuable asset in the entire room. That profound composure in a crisis is built on a foundation of truth. Your ninth stoic pattern is the disciplined art of speaking with purpose, saying only what is true, necessary, and kind. In a world of constant chatter, gossip, and strategic exaggeration, the person who weighs their words becomes a pillar of reliability. The Stoics believed that your speech should be as thoughtful as your actions, for your words are the clearest expression of your character. This means actively avoiding the trifles that erode trust, the office gossip that bonds people through shared negativity, the subtle flattery designed to gain favor, or the exaggeration that makes a story more entertaining at the cost of accuracy. Every time you engage in gossip, you send a silent message to everyone listening, a message that says, if I will speak about them this way, I will eventually speak about you this way too. It erodes the safety others feel around you. Conversely, when you consistently refuse to participate, you build a moat of integrity around your reputation. People learn that your conversations are a safe space, that what is said to you will not be carelessly repeated or twisted. This creates a deep and abiding trust. Think about the last time you needed to share a sensitive piece of information. Who did you choose to confide in? It was almost certainly the person known for their discretion and honesty, not the one who is always at the center of the rumor mill. That choice reveals everything. When you commit to speaking only what is necessary, you stop devaluing your voice with trivialities. your words become sparse and therefore precious. When you speak, people stop what they are doing and listen because they know you are not just making noise. You have built a track record where your word is your bond. This unwavering honesty becomes the bedrock of your relationships, both professional and personal, and from that bedrock grows a respect that is not easily shaken. That bedrock of honesty clarifies what truly deserves your time and energy. The 10th Stoic pattern is a practice that cuts through all of life's noise, memento mori, the gentle but constant reminder of your own mortality. It sounds dark, even morbid, but the Stoics saw it as the ultimate tool for a vibrant and purposeful life. It is not about dwelling on death with fear, but about using the certainty of your ending to illuminate the value of your present. Think of it as the most important deadline you will ever have, one that makes all other deadlines seem trivial. This reflection instantly reorders your priorities. A rude comment on the internet, a colleague taking credit for your idea, a frustrating delay in traffic when held against the vast, finite scale of your life, these irritations lose their power to consume you. You begin to ask a different, more potent question. Is this how I want to spend my precious and limited time? Is this conflict worth the energy I could be pouring into my relationships, my passions, or my growth? The person who practices memento mori carries themselves differently. They do not get drawn into office politics or petty arguments, not because they are above it, but because they are acutely aware that their time is too valuable to waste. This creates a noticeable sense of purpose. People see someone who is focused on what truly matters, who is not easily thrown off course by minor dramas. This focus commands a deep respect because it reflects a maturity that understands the weight of a lifetime. It fuels a profound gratitude as well. The morning coffee, the conversation with a friend, the quiet moment of accomplishment, all of these are sharpened and sweetened by the awareness that they are temporary gifts. This gratitude radiates outward, making you more present and appreciative in your interactions. Others feel valued in your company because you are not distracted by trivial worries. You are here fully engaged, and that presence is a rare and respectable quality. By remembering that your time is finite, you start to live with a quiet urgency, not a frantic haste, but a deliberate commitment to making your actions count. And the world cannot help but respect someone who clearly understands the value of a life. A mind that remembers its own end is a mind freed from the need for constant approval. This brings us to the 11th Stoic pattern, a quiet liberation from the opinions of others. The Stoic ideal is to build your self-worth on the unshakable ground of your own virtue, not the shifting sand of external validation. This means learning to receive both praise and blame with the same calm detachment. It is not that you become cold or unfeeling, but that you stop handing other people the remote control to your inner state. When a compliment comes your way, you can acknowledge it gracefully without letting it inflate your ego. You understand that the praise is often about your performance in a single moment, not your core character. More importantly, when criticism or blame arrives, you can receive it without being devastated. You hold it up to the light of your own principles and ask a simple question: is this true? If it is, you learn from it without self-flagellation. If it is not, you let it pass by like a cloud in the sky without allowing it to darken your day. This emotional independence projects a powerful sense of self-assurance that people find magnetic. Think about someone you know who is utterly unfazed by office politics or gossip. They do not scramble to defend themselves against every whispered accusation, nor do they fish for compliments to bolster their confidence. Their actions seem to come from a deep internal compass, and that authenticity is compelling. When you are not performing for an audience, when your choices are guided by what is right rather than what is popular, you earn a deep and enduring respect. People see that your integrity is not for sale. They recognize a person who cannot be manipulated by flattery or intimidated by disapproval. In a world where so many are constantly reacting to the latest social feedback, your steady, self-authored presence becomes a benchmark of true character. A profound respect is reserved for those whose moral compass points true north, regardless of who is watching. Stoic justice is the unwavering commitment to fairness in your smallest daily actions, treating the intern who fetches coffee with the same genuine regard you offer the company's chief executive. This goes far beyond mere politeness. It is a deep recognition of the shared humanity in every person you meet. Your character is not revealed in how you treat powerful people who can advance your career, but in how you treat those who have absolutely nothing to offer you in return. Picture a team meeting where a junior member offers an idea that is immediately dismissed or even mocked by a senior, more influential colleague. The easy path is to stay silent to avoid the social friction. The just path is to speak up. You might say, "I think Sarah's point about the client workflow is worth exploring. It could save us time in the long run." In that moment, you are not just defending an idea, you are defending a person's dignity. You are demonstrating that your loyalty is to what is right, not to who is right in the hierarchy. The junior employee may never be in a position to repay you, and that is precisely the point. Your action is a pure expression of character, untainted by calculation. People watch this and they remember. They see someone whose principles are not situational, whose fairness is not a strategy but a core identity. This consistency builds a trust that is both rare and powerful, because everyone knows that in your presence they will be judged by the content of their character, not the title on their business card. That same commitment to justice requires a mind that is always open to being corrected. The 13th Stoic pattern is cultivating a learner's mindset, an active and humble pursuit of wisdom that never ends. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in the world, wrote private notes to himself urging continuous improvement and acknowledging his own teachers. He did not see his position as a sign of ultimate knowledge, but as a responsibility to keep learning. This is the core of intellectual humility, the strength to admit I was wrong, and the curiosity to ask, "What can you teach me?" In a culture that often mistakes stubbornness for strength, this flexibility is a superpower. Think about a team discussion where you have passionately defended a plan. A colleague points out a critical flaw you missed. The ego's instinct is to defend, to rationalize, to find a way to be right. The learner's mindset allows you to pause, truly consider their point, and say, "You are absolutely correct." Thank you for catching that. This single act does not diminish your authority, it elevates it. It demonstrates a security in yourself that is not threatened by being incorrect. It shows that your loyalty is to the truth, not to your own ego. Peers respect this immensely because it creates a collaborative environment where the best idea can win, no matter where it comes from. Mentors are drawn to this attitude because they see someone who is coachable, someone who can actually grow. By embracing the fact that you do not know everything, you open the door to learning anything, and that expansive, curious spirit is a magnet for deep and lasting respect. A learner's mindset frees you from the prison of your own ego, but what about the chains of your own desires? The 14th Stoic pattern addresses the very engine of our dissatisfaction, mastering your wants and reframing your fears. The Stoics taught that our suffering rarely comes from the events themselves, but from our desperate desires for things we cannot control and our powerful aversions to things we cannot avoid. This is about breaking an internal chain. When your sense of self-worth is tied to a promotion, a certain level of wealth, or public recognition, you hand over your inner peace to forces outside your command. You become a puppet, and your strings are your own unchecked cravings. The person who is visibly desperate for a deal often ends up with the worst terms. The individual who must have the latest luxury car to feel successful broadcasts a deep insecurity. This neediness is palpable, and it subtly invites others to take advantage because they sense you can be manipulated by what you want. The Stoic alternative is not to abandon ambition, but to purify your relationship with it. You work diligently for that promotion, but you tie your self-respect to the quality of your effort, not the final outcome. You can appreciate wealth, but you do not see it as the source of your happiness. This internal shift creates a remarkable external effect. In a negotiation, when you're not emotionally attached to closing the deal, you gain a powerful advantage. You can walk away without regret, and that very willingness makes your position stronger. People respect the negotiator who is calm, clear, and not driven by need. The same principle applies to your aversions. We naturally fear discomfort, criticism, and failure. But the Stoic learns to reframe these challenges, not as monsters to be avoided at all costs, but as training grounds for character. You stop saying, "I hope this does not happen," and start asking, "If it happens, what is the best version of my response?" By willingly accepting the possibility of hardship, you drain it of its power to intimidate you. When a difficult project lands on your desk, the common reaction is groaning and resistance, an aversion to the extra work. The Stoic response is to see it as an opportunity to demonstrate resilience and capability. This attitude is immediately noticeable. The person who welcomes a challenge, or at least meets it without complaint, is seen as a leader and a problem solver. They are the ones others look to when things get tough, because their composure reveals a mind that is not ruled by its fears. This command over your own internal landscape, this freedom from being jerked around by every want and dread, projects a stability that others instinctively trust and deeply respect. Mastery over your desires transforms the very nature of the obstacles you face. A true Stoic does not see a wall as a dead end, but as the only path forward. This 15th pattern is about showing resilience by reframing every failure, every setback, and every single barrier as a necessary training ground for your character. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius put it plainly, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is not just optimistic thinking, it is a fundamental reorientation of your perspective. When a project you champion gets cancelled, the common narrative is one of defeat. You poured your energy into something that ultimately failed, but the Stoic narrative asks a different question. What did building that project teach me about leadership, about planning, about managing a team? What new skills did I acquire in the process that are now mine forever? The obstacle, the cancellation itself, did not take those gains away. It was the very reason you earned them. People are watching how you handle these moments. When you are passed over for a promotion, do you slump into bitterness, complaining about unfairness? Or do you calmly request feedback, identify the gaps in your skills, and immediately begin working to close them? The person who does the latter is not a victim of circumstance. They are an alchemist of adversity, turning leaden disappointments into golden opportunities for growth. This quality commands a special kind of respect because it reveals a person who cannot be broken by the normal turbulence of life and career. They are like a tree that uses the relentless wind to deepen its root structure, becoming more anchored and more formidable with every storm. Your resilience in the face of obstacles proves that your core strength is not dependent on everything going right, but is forged in the fires of things going wrong. Your resilience in the face of obstacles proves that your core strength is not dependent on everything going right, but is forged in the fires of things going wrong. This inner fortitude allows you to see beyond your own immediate struggles and connect with the world on a grander scale. The 16th Stoic pattern involves two profound mental exercises designed to shrink your ego and expand your compassion, the practice of empathy through interconnectedness and the view from above. The Stoics called this interconnectedness sympatheia, the understanding that we are all part of a single, vast system. Picture a giant, ancient tree. From a distance, it appears as one solid being, but look closer and you see that every leaf, every branch, and every root is both a distinct part and utterly dependent on the whole for its life. This is our human condition. Your actions, your words, your very energy ripple through this network, affecting others in ways you may never see. When you truly internalize this, your approach to conflict transforms. The colleague who seems difficult is not just an obstacle, they are a leaf on the same tree, shaped by different sunlight and different storms. This is not about excusing poor behavior, but about understanding its origin. It allows you to respond to their frustration, not with more frustration, but with a calm inquiry that seeks to heal a break in the network, not win a battle. This ability to see the shared struggle in others makes you a compassionate and deeply respected leader, because people feel seen not just as functionaries but as human beings. The second exercise, the view from above, takes this even further. It asks you to mentally float up high above your own life. See your city from the clouds, watch the cars moving like tiny ants, the buildings like children's blocks. Now pull back further, see the continent, the planet, a pale blue dot swirling in the immensity of space. From this cosmic vantage point, how significant is that rude email you received this morning? How large does that disagreement in a meeting truly loom? This is not meant to make your life seem meaningless, but to put its dramas into their proper, humble perspective. It dissolves the artificial urgency of your ego and highlights what is truly vast and enduring. When you return to ground level, you carry a piece of that quiet perspective with you. You are less easily offended, less prone to taking things personally, because you have seen the breathtaking scale of the stage on which we all play our small, interconnected parts. This combination, the deep empathy for the individual and the humble perspective of the cosmos, creates a leader who is both grounding and inspiring, a person who commands respect not by demanding it, but by understanding their place in the grand, beautiful whole. A cosmic perspective reminds us that our individual dramas are small, but our personal integrity is what makes our role matter. This brings us to the 17th Stoic pattern, the sacred discipline of keeping your commitments. For a Stoic, your word is not just a string of sounds, it is a binding contract you make with your own character. Every promise you keep, no matter how small, is a brick laid in the foundation of your reputation, while every promise you break is a crack in that same foundation. Think of the most reliable person you know. What do you feel for them? It is a deep, almost instinctual respect because they have created a reality where their words and their actions are perfectly aligned. They say they will finish the report by Friday, and it is done. They agree to meet for coffee at 3, and they are there at 3. This consistency seems simple, but in a world of flakiness and excuses, it becomes a superpower. It means people know they can count on you, not just for the big, dramatic favors, but for the small, daily agreements that form the fabric of trust. When a colleague asks if you can review their presentation and you say yes, you have just accepted a responsibility. Following through on that minor pledge tells them they are valued, that their success matters to you. Conversely, brushing it off or forgetting communicates the exact opposite, that your own convenience is more important than your shared purpose. This reliability builds a rock-solid reputation over time. People learn that if you have given your word, the matter is as good as settled. This is not about being perfect or never making a mistake. Life can indeed intervene. But when it does, the Stoic does not offer a flimsy excuse. They offer a sincere apology and an immediate plan to make it right, reaffirming their commitment even in the breach. This unwavering integrity in your dealings becomes the bedrock of every relationship, professional and personal, proving that the strongest bonds are not built on grand gestures, but on the quiet, cumulative power of promises kept. Your reputation for reliability reveals a character that is not easily swayed by the crowd. This leads us to the 18th Stoic pattern, a quiet rebellion against the modern obsession with external validation. We live in a world that constantly measures worth in likes, shares, job titles, and the size of an audience. The Stoic sees this relentless pursuit for what it truly is, a chase after phantoms that are not within our control and are ultimately indifferent to a life well lived. When your sense of self hinges on the applause of others, you hand them the keys to your inner peace. You become like a ship with no anchor, tossed about by every wave of popular opinion. This neediness is visible to everyone. The person who constantly name drops to prove their importance, who visibly deflates when a social media post does not get enough likes, or who shapes their opinions to match whatever is currently fashionable, broadcasts a deep insecurity. People may flatter this person to their face, but they rarely respect them because they sense the foundation is hollow. In stark contrast, the individual who focuses on internal virtue becomes self-contained. Their confidence comes from knowing they acted with integrity, whether anyone was watching or not. They do not need to post about their charity work because the act itself was its own reward. They do not seek the spotlight but are content to do excellent work in the shadows. This self-possession is magnetic. When you are not fishing for compliments or visibly craving recognition, people are drawn to your authentic presence. They see someone whose value is not up for a public vote, someone who is grounded in something far more substantial than fleeting trends. This inner stability commands a deep and quiet respect because it proves you are the author of your own worth and no one else holds the pen. An unshakable sense of self-worth built from within allows you to fully appreciate the world around you. The 19th Stoic pattern is the daily practice of gratitude, not as a fleeting feeling, but as a disciplined ritual for the mind. The Stoics began and ended their days with specific reflections, not on what they desired, but on what they already possessed. Imagine waking up and, before your feet even touch the floor, consciously bringing to mind 3 things you are grateful for. It might be the warmth of the blanket, the sound of birds outside, or simply the gift of another day to practice your character. This is not a passive wish, it is an active training of your attention. In the evening, the ritual continues with a review of the day. What went well? Where did you find a moment of unexpected kindness or a small victory? This consistent reflection systematically rewires your brain to spot the good, to notice the abundance that was always there but obscured by the brain's natural negativity bias. When you make this a non-negotiable part of your routine, something profound shifts in your demeanor. A person who practices gratitude does not walk through the world with a sense of entitlement, feeling that life owes them more. They walk with a sense of contentment, recognizing that much has already been given. This is incredibly attractive to others. Think about 2 colleagues. One constantly complains about the mediocre coffee, the slow internet, the unfair workload. The other consistently notices the comfortable chair, the helpful assistant, the interesting challenge of a new project. Who would you rather work alongside? Who would you trust to lead a team through a difficult period? The grateful person radiates a positive energy that is not based on blind optimism, but on a clear-eyed appreciation for reality as it is. They do not ignore problems, but they approach them from a foundation of strength, not scarcity. This appreciative demeanor naturally earns respect because it demonstrates a mature and resilient spirit, one that finds light even in ordinary shadows, and in doing so, makes everyone else's world a little brighter. Gratitude roots you firmly in the present, yet a truly resilient mind knows how to reframe the present itself. Your 20th Stoic pattern is the ultimate tool for mental freedom, learning to separate the raw event from the story you tell yourself about it. An event is just a collection of facts, neutral until your mind assigns it a value. Your judgment is the layer of meaning, the narrative of good or bad that you instantly drape over those facts. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, born a slave, put it with brutal clarity: it is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things. A critical email from your manager is just data, text on a screen. Your interpretation, however, can transform that data into a catastrophe, a story of personal failure and impending doom, or it can transform it into a gift. The cognitive flexibility to choose the second story is a hallmark of both high intelligence and profound emotional maturity. Let's walk through that critical feedback scenario. The event: your boss says your report lacked sufficient detail and needs a rewrite. The initial automatic judgment screams, "This is a personal attack. I am incompetent. My job is at risk." This story triggers a flood of anxiety and defensiveness. Now insert the stoic pause, strip away the judgment, and look only at the event itself. The report needs more detail. That is all. From this neutral ground, you can consciously choose a new, more useful narrative. This is not a verdict on my worth. This is valuable data about my boss's expectations. This feedback is a free tutorial on how to succeed here. This shift is not self-deception, it is strategic thinking. By reinterpreting the event as useful information, you disarm the emotional charge. Your heart rate steadies, your mind clears. You can now reply not from a place of wounded pride, but from a place of professional curiosity. You can ask, "Thank you for the feedback. Could you help me understand which specific sections you felt needed more depth so I can improve for next time?" This response floors people. It transforms a potential conflict into a collaborative problem-solving session. It demonstrates a level of self-awareness and control that is rare and deeply impressive. People respect you because you are not fragile, you are adaptable. You prove that you can handle the truth, and in doing so, you invite more of it, accelerating your growth in ways that constant praise never could. Freedom from the stories you tell yourself creates a spaciousness within your mind, a quiet clarity that sees through life's complications. This mental simplicity finds its perfect expression in the 21st Stoic pattern, the deliberate embrace of a simple life. The Stoics were not opposed to comfort, but they were deeply suspicious of luxury and clutter, seeing them not as rewards but as potential prisons. Every unnecessary possession, every complicated desire, is another chain that ties your peace of mind to external things. The more you own, the more you have to worry about, to maintain, to protect, and ultimately to lose. This is not a call for austerity, but for intentionality. It is about asking a radical question with every potential acquisition. Does this thing serve my life, or will I end up serving it? When you minimize your desires and streamline your possessions, you are not practicing deprivation, you are declaring a profound kind of independence. You are proving to yourself that your happiness is not contingent on the next purchase, the bigger house, or the more prestigious car. This inner declaration projects an unmistakable aura of self-sufficiency. Think of two people. One arrives at a casual team lunch driving a flashy, expensive car, their conversation laced with mentions of their latest gadgets and luxury vacations. The other arrives on a bicycle, dressed comfortably, their attention fully on the people around them, who commands a deeper, more thoughtful respect. The first may attract envy or curiosity, but the second projects a quiet confidence that is entirely self-generated. They are not defined by what they have, but by who they are. This simplicity of lifestyle broadcasts a powerful message. My value is not for sale, and my peace is not negotiable. It shows that you understand the difference between price and value, and that you have chosen to invest in the one thing that truly appreciates your own character. In a world shouting that more is better, the person who is content with less, who is focused and uncluttered, stands as a pillar of strength and earns a respect that is as deep as it is silent. A simple life clears the stage for a day lived with deliberate intent. Before the world has a chance to make its demands, the Stoic engages in a quiet mental rehearsal known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This is not a practice of fearful worrying or pessimistic dread. It is an exercise in emotional inoculation, a way to prepare your mind for the day's inevitable friction, so you can meet it not with shock and frustration, but with calm readiness. While others stumble through their mornings hoping for the best, you spend a few moments anticipating potential challenges. You visualize the traffic jam that might test your patience. You mentally rehearse the difficult conversation with a colleague. You even consider the possibility of a project setback. By visiting these potential hardships in your mind first, you strip them of their power to ambush you. When you then encounter that very traffic jam, it feels familiar, almost expected. Your response is no longer a raw, startled reaction, but a practiced, graceful action. You anticipated this, you are prepared. This shift from reactive to proactive is a hallmark of profound inner strength. People notice this quality immediately. They see the person whose composure remains unbroken when a morning meeting is suddenly cancelled, whose temper stays cool when a computer crashes moments before a deadline. This is not because they are lucky, but because they have already lived through these scenarios in the theater of their mind. They have already decided how they will respond, so when reality mirrors their rehearsal, they execute their plan with the steady hand of a seasoned captain navigating a known storm. This consistent readiness builds a deep and abiding respect, for it reveals an individual who is never truly caught off guard, someone who moves through the world with a quiet authority that comes from having already faced the day's difficulties and having chosen their response in advance. That mental rehearsal prepares you for the day's friction, but what about the burdens you carried in from yesterday? Your 23rd stoic pattern is the profound art of letting go of what you cannot change. We already explored the power of focusing on your own choices, but the other half of that equation is just as vital, accepting with serene grace the things that lie entirely beyond your command. Think of a sailor on a long voyage. They can expertly manage the sails, plot the course, and maintain the ship, all elements within their control, but they cannot command the wind. A foolish sailor would exhaust themselves by shaking their fist at a calm sea or a contrary gale, raging against a force of nature that will never heed their cries. A wise sailor simply observes the wind, accepts its reality, and adjusts their sails accordingly. This is the essence of stoic acceptance. Wasting your precious energy fighting immutable facts, like a past mistake or another person's entrenched opinion, is the hallmark of a mind still at war with reality. It appears as foolishness to everyone watching, a futile struggle that only leaves you frustrated and drained. Now picture a colleague who made a significant error on a project 6 months ago. They still bring it up in conversation. They still tie themselves in knots explaining it. They are still fighting a battle that is already over. Their own energy is perpetually siphoned into a past they can never alter. Contrast that with someone who acknowledges the mistake fully, learns the lesson it offered, and then deliberately turns their attention to the work they can do today. Which person would you trust with a critical new initiative? The one haunted by ghosts or the one firmly planted in the present? Graceful acceptance is not weakness or resignation. It is the ultimate demonstration of wisdom and strength. It proves you possess the clarity to distinguish between the territory you govern, your own mind, and the vast country of the world that operates by its own rules. When you stop arguing with reality, you free up all the energy you are wasting on a fight you could never win. That energy then becomes available for what you can actually influence: your next action, your current attitude, your future intent. This serene acceptance makes you a pillar of practical strength, a person who deals with the world as it is, not as they wish it would be, and that unflinching realism is the very foundation of long-term respect. A serene acceptance of the world frees your energy for its highest use, service to the human community. Your 24th stoic pattern is the natural extension of all your inner work, acting for the common good. Stoicism was never a philosophy of isolated self-interest, a solitary fortress for the mind. It is a practice of connection, built on the profound understanding that we are all limbs of the same body, as Marcus Aurelius wrote. Your personal virtue remains incomplete until it is expressed through social responsibility. This principle, called oikeiosis, is the Stoic art of extending your circle of concern, recognizing that your own well-being is inextricably linked to the well-being of others. When you act with justice and for the collective benefit, you are not being charitable, you are being rational. You are tending to the health of the whole organism to which you belong. Think about the last time you saw someone go out of their way to help a stranger. Perhaps they held a door for someone struggling with packages, or they patiently helped a confused tourist find their way. In that moment, you did not see a person seeking recognition. You saw a person acting from a deep-seated sense of what is right. That action, however small, sends a ripple through the social fabric, strengthening it. It builds a legacy of respect that has nothing to do with personal fame and everything to do with the quiet dignity of contribution. In your own life, this might look like mentoring a new employee without being asked, sharing credit freely with your team, or advocating for a process that benefits the entire department, even if it means a bit more work for you. You are not just completing tasks, you are building a web of mutual support and trust. People are drawn to this spirit of generosity. They see someone whose ambitions are larger than their own ego, someone who understands that a rising tide lifts all boats. This consistent orientation toward the common good marks you as a true leader, one who commands respect not through authority, but through a genuine and demonstrated care for the whole. This final pattern is the quiet engine room where all the others are forged. Consistent self-reflection, particularly the Stoic evening review, is your daily opportunity to measure your actions against the unwavering standard of your principles. After the day is done and the noise has faded, you sit with yourself and ask a series of direct and honest questions. Where did I act with courage today? Where did I fall short? Did my choices align with justice and wisdom? This is not an exercise in self-criticism, but in calibration. You are not judging the person you are guiding the person you are becoming. Think of a gardener tending to a prized tree. They do not yell at the tree for a bent branch. They gently examine it, understand why it grew that way, and provide the support it needs to grow straighter and stronger tomorrow. Your character is that tree. The evening review is your daily check-in, your moment to note where you need to apply more support, more discipline, or more compassion. This commitment to growth, to never considering yourself a finished product, is the ultimate source of long-term respect. People may not see you performing this nightly ritual, but they will see its profound results. They will see someone who learns from their mistakes with humility, who corrects their course with quiet determination, and who is consistently, undeniably improving. This relentless pursuit of becoming a better version of yourself is the final master pattern that binds all the others into a single, unbreakable whole. It proves that your respect for your own potential is so great that you're willing to do the hard, private work to honor it, and the world cannot help but reflect that profound respect back to you. These 25 patterns are not isolated tricks, but a complete operating system for the soul. Each one connects to and reinforces the others, building an unshakable character from the inside out. From mastering your initial reactions and embracing intentional silence, to taking absolute ownership and focusing only on what you control. From living with virtue and seeking voluntary discomfort, to understanding others and keeping your word. From remembering your mortality to freeing yourself from the opinions of the crowd. Each pattern is a deliberate choice, a brick laid in the foundation of a life that commands respect not through loud demands, but through quiet, consistent action. This is the Stoic promise that long-term respect is the natural byproduct of a well-ordered character. It cannot be faked, rushed, or purchased. It is earned in the small, daily moments where you choose principle over impulse and integrity over convenience. The entire journey rests on a single, powerful truth. You build the respect of others by first becoming a person you yourself respect. So where do you begin with such a comprehensive map? The most effective path is not to attempt all 25 at once, but to choose just one or two patterns to focus on for the coming week. Perhaps you will start with inserting that crucial pause before you react, or with practicing intentional silence in your next meeting. Maybe your focus will be on taking full responsibility for a single project, or on letting go of one past event you have been fighting against. The specific choice matters less than the act of choosing. True transformation happens not in a single leap, but in the cumulative power of these small, daily practices. In the comments below, share which stoic pattern you find most challenging, or which one has already made the most significant impact in your life. Your choice is the first step, the initial commitment to building a character that earns the deepest, most enduring form of respect, the kind that time itself cannot erode.